Long before highways stretched across the land and steel towers reached for the sky, the American continent was a vibrant tapestry of diverse peoples and rich cultures. These were societies that moved in harmony with nature, recognizing every river, every mountain, every creature as a sacred part of the world they lived in. For centuries, these communities thrived, creating systems of life that were as much about the spirit as they were about survival. They studied the stars to guide their paths, listened to the whispers of the wind for guidance, and sang to celebrate the simple yet profound act of being alive. But when colonizers arrived, much of this ancient wisdom began to fade into the shadows of history. This is a story of knowledge that nearly vanished, yet still lingers in the earth, the rivers, and in the hearts of many. Join me on a journey through time, where the voices of the elders echo, and the soul of the land speaks through every tree and stone. This is a story of respect, connection, and a deeper understanding of spirituality. This is the story of the indigenous peoples of the Americas. Before borders were drawn or empires built, this vast continent was a land alive with countless nations. From north to south, hundreds of distinct peoples flourished, each with their own language, traditions, and sacred relationship with the natural world. These lands were not just territories, they were sacred homes, places where people understood that the earth belongs to no one, but that all belong to the earth. In the plains of the Great North, the Lakota followed the mighty bison, seeing in these creatures not just sustenance, but balance and harmony. To the west, the ancient Puebloans built stone cities that seemed to rise organically from the land, blending architecture seamlessly with nature. Farther to the north, the Haudenosaunee, known as the Iroquois Confederacy, crafted one of the world's first systems of democracy, uniting 5, later 6, great nations under a banner of peace. Every culture had its own unique bond with the land. For the Tupi-Guarani of the tropical forests, nature was a living reflection of the divine, with every river and mountain telling the stories of gods and ancestors. To the north, the Inuit people adapted to the harshest of environments, thriving where others saw only frozen wasteland, using deep knowledge to survive the unforgiving cold. These societies didn't just survive, they thrived. Trade routes spanned the continent, linking distant peoples and fostering the exchange of goods, ideas, and stories. The seashells found in the Great Plains and the obsidian from the west, discovered in the east, were proof of a vast, interconnected world that existed long before modern global trade. Yet, beyond trade and construction, what truly united these cultures was a shared philosophy, an understanding that all things are connected. They believed that humanity was but one thread in the vast web of life, and that disrupting this balance would lead to chaos. The Americas were not an untamed wilderness to be conquered. They were a vibrant, living world shaped by those who understood that greatness comes from living in harmony with all that surrounds you. One continent, 1,000 nations, and a lesson that still resonates today. Native American tribes were far more than just human communities. They were complex societies with intricate systems of governance, traditions, and rituals designed to ensure peace and unity. Among the Haudenosaunee, governance was an inspiring example of balance, a blend of central authority and local autonomy. Their confederation, made up of 6 nations, operated on a consensus system where decisions were made with careful consideration for the next 7 generations. This foresight reflected a deep respect for life's continuity. It was a system that kept leaders humble and ensured that every voice, no matter its rank, was heard. In the Southwest, the Hopi followed a spiritual, decentralized approach to governance. Each village was led by a council of elders who made decisions together, guided by both wisdom and the signs of nature. For the Hopi, leadership wasn't about power, it was about sacred responsibility, about serving the community with devotion. Their oral traditions ensured that knowledge, both spiritual and practical, was passed down, ensuring the survival of their teachings for generations. In the heart of the Great Plains, the Lakota organized themselves into smaller bands, each with a leader chosen by merit. Major decisions, whether related to hunting, war, or gathering, were made in larger councils, where every voice was valued. This fluidity allowed the Lakota to quickly adapt to the shifting seasons and changing needs. Their ability to reorganize quickly in times of crisis was one of their greatest strengths, a testament to their resilience. On the Pacific coast, the Tlingit and Haida peoples structured their societies around clans, with each clan holding exclusive rights to land and resources. Social order was maintained through elaborate ceremonies like potlatches, feasts where wealth was distributed, reinforcing alliances and demonstrating generosity. These practices created social bonds, ensured that resources were shared, and prevented hoarding. At the heart of all these societies was the same core principle: cooperation and interdependence. Among Native American tribes, decisions were almost always collective. Leadership wasn't about dominance, it was about service to the community. Every individual contributed knowledge, skills, and wisdom for the common good, ensuring the survival and well-being of the entire tribe. These governance systems transcended politics. They demonstrated that true leadership comes from a deep respect for life, community, and the earth. A lesson we can still learn from today. The spiritual practices of Native American peoples were not separate from daily life. They were intertwined with it, a constant reminder of the sacredness of all things. For them, the earth was not just a place to live. It was a living, breathing entity with divine energy flowing through it. Among the Lakota, spirituality centered around the concept of Wakantanka, the Great Spirit, which was not a single being but the sum of all forces in the universe, connecting everything. Their rituals, like the sun dance, symbolized sacrifice and renewal, linking individuals to the cosmos and the cycles of nature. In the Southwest, the Hopi believed they were the guardians of balance, ensuring harmony between the spiritual and physical worlds. Their ceremonies, guided by spiritual beings called kachinas, asked for rain, fertility, and prosperity, and through them, they honored the divine. The Amazonian Tupi-Guarani saw the land as sacred, believing that through rituals and plant medicine, they could connect with spirits and receive visions to guide their people. Spirituality was also deeply embedded in their art. The Haida, for example, created totem poles, monuments that told the stories of their people, their ancestors, and their connection to the natural forces. These totems were not just art, they were sacred objects that symbolized life's most important connections. In all these cultures, spirituality wasn't something separate from life, it was life itself. Every act, from hunting to planting, was an act of devotion. Even in their healing practices, shamans saw illness as an imbalance in the spiritual world, and their work was to restore harmony by reconnecting people with the greater web of life. The wisdom of these traditions transcends time, urging us to reflect. What if we, too, lived in a world where every action was an offering, where every step was filled with gratitude, and every word carried the weight of the sacred? Perhaps, like the Native American ancestors, we could rediscover our connection to the divine.